everybody, it's me, the chameleon girl Gina, and I hope I have enough energy to go ahead and record this video for you guys, because it's just been kind of a long, rocky, one of those types of days. Anyway, the last time I recorded a video on cleaning chitlins, there was a couple of questions about the ones in the bag versus the bucket. So what I decided to do tonight is show you all the difference in the ones in the bag versus the ones in the bucket. Now, the ones that I'm going to use that are from the bag, the ones that say that they are fresh pork chitlings, and they say premium triple cleaned, and then some of them will actually go on to tell you that there is no need to clean them. All you need to do is rinse, cook, and eat. Now, it doesn't say that specifically on this particular bag, but that's the assumption that we would make, especially if we're not very experienced with doing chitlins. And then the other ones that we're going to do tonight, so I can show you guys a couple of differences in these chitlins, is a 10-pound bucket of Smithfield fresh chitlins. Now, everybody knows, you got to clean the bucket chitlins. But what needs to be very clear is that you also need to clean the ones in the bag. And this is the ones from the bucket. The first thing that I do, and I'm going to tell you guys my little disclaimer regarding my fingernails. I'm not going to cut my nails to make this chitlin video, but what you need to do is make sure that you wash your hands really, really good with an antibacterial soap. I use liquid soap. And then take a brush and just scrub under your fingernails as well, just to make sure there's nothing under there. Okay, I have a couple of broken ones. I don't want to hear about nothing in the comments trying to clown, okay? But anyway, neither here nor there. This is a little over 5 pounds of chitlins out of this 10-pound bucket. So the buckets always come in 10 pound, okay? Now, as far as the bags of chitlins, I have never seen them go over a 5-pound bag. So this is a 5-pound bag. Now this, on this side, so in the clear container or bowl, we have the, this is 5 pounds, imagine that, you guys, of pre-cleaned chitlins. And I want to show you guys a few things about these chitlins. These have not been mixed together, but look at this. That's why I'm saying you have to clean them. I don't recommend picking the chitlin, which is something that I'm going to show you guys, the method that, there are people who do use this method. But look at that, that's filthy. So anyway, this is, that's filthy. See, it's filthy. Can you all see that? I got the lighting okay enough to where you guys can see that those are filthy. Now we're going to take a look at the chitlins in the bucket, and we're going to get a close-up on those as well. See, they're dirty too. But you know what I am noticing is that they're not as dirty as the one in the bag. So with that being said, the bag chitlins this year are dirtier. And year by year, things just change and it kind of gets different and it varies. So this year, I'm noticing that the ones in the bag are more dirty than the ones in the bucket. Now, as far as the ones in the bucket are concerned, what I am seeing with them is that the water, although I have washed those through my colander, before you ever start cleaning your chitlins, make sure you wash and wash and wash till the water is pretty much clear. The water did come more clear on the pre-cleaned chitlins. So I'm not sure what the big difference in that is, but this is about as clear as I can get it. And I mean, I have washed them thoroughly over and over. And with the ones in the bag, they are the Quinella brand. Okay, now I understand there's different brands, and I was even told that there's a brand that you can take out the package and throw them right in the pot. I would never recommend doing that though when it comes to chitlins, because it's just gross, okay? So the first thing that we're going to do is make sure that we're comfortable. And in my last video regarding chitlins, what I did do is tell you guys that I like to sit down and I like to make sure that I'm comfortable. So I'm sitting at my dining room table with a plastic tablecloth. I have a white towel here to sit my utensils on, and I'll tell you what those are for in just a moment. And then I have a bowl, an empty clean bowl with just ice in there. Now, I have 30 pounds of chitlins to clean total, but I don't ever dump all my chitlins in one big thing in front of me, because it can overwhelm you to know that you have to do that much work versus taking about 5 pounds at a time, clean those. It just goes by way faster. So try that out for yourself. You know, if you don't believe me, just try it for yourself. It'll go faster. Now, what I also noticed is that the ones in the bucket, they give off more of a smell to me. You know, they smell more chitlin-y and stuff like that. Now, the ones that are pre-cleaned, they have a chitlin smell, of course, but they're not as funky. But there's no chitlins that smell like the ones back in the day, like in the, you know, when we were coming along. Well, I would say back in my days was the 80s and stuff like that, when those chitlins would be so funky. You'd pick them up and the whole intestine, the feces would run right out of. I mean, that was so nasty back then. I don't even know how they sold them. And it's sad that people will sell these chitlins to you, something that they once used to throw away. But let's move on to the price of the chitlins. The Quinella, I believe, was about $7, but it was a little over, maybe $7.48. I got mine from Walmart for the pre-cleaned 5-pound bag of them. But I got this 10-pound bucket for almost the exact same price. It may have been $7.98, so I guess maybe 40 cents more for another additional 5 pounds. So what I'm saying is that this all boils down to a preference. The only reason why I got both is to just kind of be able to show you guys that there is just not a huge difference, except for really it's just in the price. But you know, kind of make sure that you're in a comfortable position, especially if you have a bad back. You don't want to be standing for 50 million years over your sink full of 50 pounds of chitlins that you know lie ahead of you. You want to take your time, because I could do this, you know, over the course of, you know, a few hours, about 4 hours I may take, because then after I clean them, then someone else will go over them just to be able to make sure that they have been thoroughly cleaned. You know, so we double, triple check them. And then another thing is the utensils. What I like to have is a large knife that is sharp. So whatever your sharp large knife is. You know, not perforated ends or anything, just a nice sharp knife. So that if you get a chitlin that's like that long, then you can cut it into thirds or either cut it in half, just because it takes some of the labor out of cleaning, because you can end up breaking the membrane in a certain spot if you get one that's real extremely long, and so have you. So I'm going to show you guys that in just a moment. And the next thing that you want is a butter knife, and you want it to have the little dips right on it, because if you see a little speck or something on your knife, on your chitlin, it's kind of like the analogy of getting an eggshell that may have broken into the eggs that you want to scramble, you get it out with the shell. So the reason why I use the knife is because I can easily get it off by, you know, just kind of giving it a little scrape versus trying to pick it and it's slimy and, you know, slipping out my hands and stuff like that, okay? So that's why I have the butter knife. And then, of course, I'm going to be using the light bulb method, which is the best method in the world. This, I would say, is the most important thing over anything that I'm actually saying tonight, is to make sure that you have a lamp with no lampshade on it, so that when you clean your chitlins, when you're done, you can hold it up to the lamp. And whatever is on there, any impurities, imperfections, hay, dirt, dots, whatever, anything that may be left behind, you'll be able to see it by holding it up to the lamp without a shade. So basically, in essence, a light bulb is what you want to do. It's the light bulb method. That's what I call it. So we're going to go ahead and start. I'm going to clean a couple of these chitlins because I want to see, you know, how easy they are to clean versus the other ones. This chitlin is not extremely long, but it's semi, you know, long there. So what I always, like I said, what I like to do if it's a longer one is just take it and just kind of cut it in half. And we're going to see, is there a difference? If there is, which one is easier to clean? So we're going to hold on tight to one end of the chitlin. This side feels smooth, and I mean, I don't know why, but usually it feels rubbery, but we're going to figure it out. And then you see the little dots and specks on this particular chitlin. Okay? So you're going to hold on real tight to this end of the chitlin. And then you're going to just take it and open it up. And try to stay close to the ends of your chitlins. As you're taking off the membrane, I mean, you want to take it all the way off, but if you stick around those ends, then it'll meet right back up in the middle of the chitlin. And just take your time and go over that slowly so that you are able to not break that membrane. Because if I get to working all fast and stuff, now I'm going to take the nasty part. This is the throwaway bucket. I'm going to throw away this too. I'm just going to push it in there and throw it away. Now, this chitlin, I would say, is going to be a little bit more difficult. The only reason why is because on the end of this chitlin, so far, I'm seeing some specks. Now, remember, this is the pre-cleaned chitlins. So what I'm going to do is go in with my knife. I'm going to have to use my sharp knife for this procedure. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to take that off and throw it away, because I'm not going to pick dot for dot and all that. I ain't that hard up for a chitlin where I got, you know what I mean, where I feel like doing that. I just don't feel like doing it. But anyway, if I do see a little speck on my chitlin, then I have a white paper towel. And make sure that you have a white paper towel so that if you see a dot and you take it off the chitlin, then you touch it. Touch it to the white paper towel. You should see it on there so you know it's gone. Okay? So anyway, that one wasn't all that bad to clean. Now I do see some more specks though around. It's just at the very edges where I have already removed the membrane and stuff like that. So I'm just going to take that off with my knife. So in just a moment we'll know which one is easier. And when it comes to cooking the chitlins, just kind of flavor as your heart desires, but I always recommend using some chicken bouillon, cube, or just any kind of bouillon, or you could use chicken broth, but something with the chicken flavor is going to enhance these chitlins. I'm sorry, you gotta cook the way you cook, and I gotta do it the way I do it, but that's the way I recommend doing it. So then, as I hold it up to the light, I still see a couple of more specks. See, that's the beauty in using the light bulb method. So I'm just gonna take that sharp knife and just take that off as well. It's just around the edges for some reason on this chitlin. I'll probably do about 2 out of each one. So I'm just gonna hold it up. And now, if you guys can see from there, I have a nice clean chitlin. And maybe that's why my work, you know, it takes me longer than some people, because I've heard people say they clean chitlins 50 pounds in 2 hours, but you know, I don't know, they're just a pro, I guess, like that. But I've been cleaning them since I was 8 years old, and I'm in my early 40s now, or almost mid 40s next month. And I ain't never been able to do that, but maybe that's why my labor is, I'm just, you know, really wearing myself out, because every chitlin, I take my time with it. Each one of them. So we got another one here. Now this one is going to come from the bucket pile. And again, we're just going to hold it real tight. And we're going to remove what you call the membrane off of it. And there's a difference in removing the membrane versus picking it. And I'm going to show y'all what picking it means. A lot of people don't mind to pick it, you know what I mean, because it saves on your chitlins. But at the end of the day, I just feel like I would rather see the feces have been laying right directly on that membrane. That's why I in particular want that membrane completely gone, because that's where the feces rested. It's, you know, it's on their intestines, and I just don't want that part. I don't want to pick my chitlins to try to save nothing. I guess if I can't get no chitlins, then I just, you know, have to wait until I saved up my coins to get some chitlins then, rather than to pick those bad boys and be trying to save them on pieces of fat all in. Nah, So, now this one, I went on ahead and got in there and got that membrane. Now I see where there was a break in that membrane. And the membrane is very thin. It's like sheer. It's like a sheer curtain versus a whatchamacallit, versus a curtain. So that chitlin is spotless, and it was easier to do than the pre-cleaned. I don't know why. And these pre-cleaned have a little different texture, to where they're just a little bit different today. I don't know what that's all about. But we're gonna go back over here, and we're gonna do another pre-cleaned chitlin, so we can see how clean this bad boy is. So, you know, once again, you have to clean them if you would like your chitlins to not make you sick. So anyway, I'm just going to hold that end really, really tight. And then I'm just going to grab and make it kind of like roll off there. You see that? Just hold that end real tight. Make that kind of roll. Yeah, there. And then I'm going to slow down a little bit, because I don't want it to break. I don't want no breaks on my membrane, because that creates triple the work if you break your membrane. So just take your time. I mean, you know, anybody can do this. It's just that it is work. But I don't eat everybody's chitlins, and so that's why, you know, I'm going to do it myself. You know, my mom, she's gotten elderly now, so, you know. I have my 9-year-old daughter, though. I taught her when she was 4 years old how to clean chitlins. And, honey, she can clean some chitlins. And then I have my 18-year-old daughter. She's real good at cleaning chitlins. But, you know, they don't feel like doing it, because it's a labor of love. You know, I think any cooking that you do should be with love. But anyway, I'm just kind of glancing at it from a distance. Now, what's going to reveal anything to me when I hold it up and I see a speck, this is where my knife comes in at. Just take that knife, kind of hold on to that chitlin tight because they are slippery. There. And then you just get the little speck off. Let's see one more. Hold on, hold on. And when you cook them, another thing is, if you want to use black pepper, you know, it's fine to use black pepper. I prefer to use white pepper and crushed red pepper, you know, for my pepper seasoning, one or the other. Because white pepper can be kind of spicy. But if you use black pepper, do not just throw it in when you first go to clean your chitlins. Keep a towel on your lap. Now, see, my towel done went somewhere. Oh, here. It's behind me. Hold on. Because I want y'all to see that. I keep a clean towel on your lap. I have on my little apron. But keep that on your lap because you may have to get up an emergency call or anything. And you just kind of wipe that off and then go wash up. Now, I want to go back to my other chitlins. This is the ones from the bucket. And by the second one, see how big that one is? I mean, I could just sit here, like I said, and clean it all at one time. But it makes it easier. You can just more thoroughly clean it if you make a little cut on it. Plus, if you make a cut, then it kind of reveals to you right exactly the difference. Where that membrane is between the membrane and the actual chitterling. And you just take that, kind of take your time, and you'll build up the momentum. It's nothing to be scared of, and I will say this, cleaning chitlins is kind of fun. The only thing that's not fun about cleaning chitlins anymore for me is that my back gets sore. And my shoulders may hurt a little bit, but you know, that comes with the territory. If you want your chitlins clean, then you're gonna have your back is probably gonna be tight, or your arm, or shoulder, hands, whatever. But it just seems like these in the bucket are easier to clean. I can tell you guys that right now. Because I'm not having to just go over them the way that I had to go over the other ones. Now I do see a couple little dots on there that I'm going to try to get off with my hand. If I can't, then I'm going to use my knife. And I'm going to cut that right off and throw it right on away. Okay, so that's good and clean there, because like I said, hold that bad boy to the light. I see here just a little bit, it looks like there's a little bit of the membrane on there, so we'll want all that off. But you wouldn't know it with just a bare eye. If you wear prescription glasses, make sure you wear your glasses to clean your chitlins as well. And then anyway, we're just going to, I'm gonna finish that up, and I'm not gonna make a part 2 of this video. I don't think, you know what I mean? I don't think I am. But that is just some little details that I wanted to go over in comparing the difference between the pre-cleaned and the ones in the bucket that you better clean. You better clean both of them. But these have less of a smell. So if anything, I would maybe, if I'm gonna, you know what I mean? But these give off a little bit more of the chitlin odor. And if chitlin smell bothers you on that level, what you can do is boil in a pot some Fabuloso or a pine salt or something. Just have a little bit boiling in a little in a little pot, or a little bit of cinnamon, and just take it and mix it with some water and have it boiling. If it just bothers you on that level, but if it bothers you that bad, then maybe, you know what I mean, I don't know, you know what to tell you. But that is how I clean my chitlins, and I would say that the winner for me is going to be the ones in the bucket. They are just easier to peel. They're not as nasty as these. These are harder to get that membrane off. This one is coming off better. They look just as good. If you're gonna look at the color, the water is more clear in the pre-clean ones, but they're just as nasty as the ones from the bucket. Because see, the bucket ones got stuff all on them, and so do these. So either way, and another thing, reason why I would say the bucket wins is because they just cost a few cents more than the ones in the bag. And you get more for your money. You get 10 pounds versus the 5 pounds, because this is 5 pounds of chitlins, and this is more than 5 pounds of that bucket. So that's it. That's all. I hope that you guys enjoy this follow-up to the initial video. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks from the Chameleon Girl, and Happy New Year in case I don't see you.